Well, CPS reform is needed. If you followed us last year in the legislative session, we had several bills to reform CPS to protect children and innocent families. And unfortunately, those bills didn't pass because of problems in the Texas House. And then, of course, what we saw last summer and fall was the Pardo case, where CPS abused their authority. They violated the law. They took poor little Drake Pardo from his home, and eventually he was returned. And we're going to be talking a lot about CPS reform, but one of the problems that we have in these CPS cases is not the statute, it's not the legislature, it's not the law. In fact, the Texas Family Code has requirements that when CPS takes a child, they have to do so with a court order. And in the Pardo case, what they did what they often do, which is CPS will get what's called an ex parte hearing. That means they go to court, they get a hearing with the judge where the family is not notified and they're not represented. And then, of course, the judge only hears CPS side of the story. So that's illegal, but it should be restricted to protect innocent families. And then, of course, the Family Code also requires that at least 14 days after the taking of the child, CPS has to go to court in a hearing, and they have to justify legally their taking of the child. And if there's not enough evidence to support that, then the law requires the child to be returned. And in this case, in a district judge case, the district judge refused to do that. He refused to follow the law. And unfortunately, that is not uncommon. Even Republican judges who run on a campaign of following the law and not legislating from the bench, too often, in fact, one judge actually said, I'm always going to side with CPS because if you return the child to the home and something happens to that child, that's going to be used against you in your next campaign. So the reality is we need judges who will follow the law. And if there's not any evidence, CPS doesn't have evidence, and they're not following the law, return the child to the family. So that's a critical element, and that's the reason that elections are really important as we gear up for the election season in March and then again in the general election. One of the ways that we protect children and innocent families is to elect judges who will have the courage to follow the law. So click on the links below for more information. Follow us to get our email updates, and as we get ready for the elections, our endorsements. And thank you for helping us keep Texas families free.